Hi, and welcome to the DIY Photo Organizing podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Hey Chantel, how are you today?
Hello, I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, great. Looking
Good.
forward to this one. As
Mm.
always, we always say that, don't we? So today we're going to be talking about timelines, and we thought that this might be a helpful topic for you as you're organizing your photos. We like to know what happened when, and if photos go before this event or after this event, or remembering, oh, I had braces at that time, so this must have happened before that or after that or something. There's just a whole range of little bits of information that we can gather to help us put together the placement of photos. And so that's either printed or digital.
Mhm.
And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to give some ideas on maybe, the benefits of doing that, and also how you might go about keeping a bit of a timeline for yourself. So we've also got a freebie for you with a few different sort of templates. And there's some links in the show notes that can just give you just some resources around this topic today. So to start with, I'll jump in
Mhm.
and then just give a little bit of an idea. So what I was just saying before about a timeline, this is really the order of events. And so I gave that example of, if someone had braces and you remember you were 12 or something like that. But it's really also the big events, the wedding dates, the milestone birthdays, the, milestone events that have happened that we can use as a bit of a pinpoint to work off and bounce off as far as, slotting in when things happened. And it's a living document. It's really something that obviously continues on, and you can add new information to. So Chantel, if you could share some of the benefits, why is this something that we would even be talking about, suggesting that people look at doing?
Yeah, look, I think it makes things just easier. Um, because, and you probably experienced the same thing when we sort photos, when we look at them. Usually it's more the printed photos, but it also applies to digital. But when we look at uh, printed photos, they often not in a chronological order. They all jumbled up, and we come across them and we say, oh yeah, as you just said, that time it must be about there, but you might not know an exact date. You might know an exact date, but it gives you information. And if we write that down as we come across that information, it makes it easier next time we come across a photo that belongs to that era or to that event, or that, let's say a wedding, the wedding date. So you automatically know the anniversary date each year. And possibly, you come across a photo uh, of an anniversary celebration and you see the date and that was probably the anniversary. And you can sort of, connect the dots, and it
Mm.
can help to have that timeline, and it makes it a bit faster and easier um, to write those things down as you go, because you will be able to refer back to them in an easy, simple way, and that saves you a lot of time. Um, Another benefit, especially if you're someone who's interested in family history, genealogy projects, and things like that, um, this is something very valuable to have to add to the project.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the types of things that we're talking about too, it can be like those milestones, but it could be when you moved house. So you knew
Hmm.
that you knew moved when you were young, or your parents moved, or something like that. And even just asking, and often those types of things are very memorable as far as a date goes.
Hmm.
And so it can be before or after that time, or things like that that really do leave clues, and they can help
Yeah.
do that. So how do you capture it? You know, like where do we go to track all this information? I think this is, let's get a little bit practical here, shall we?
Of course, as always,
Absolutely, as we
hopefully.
do, as we do. So you jump in.
I'll jump in. Okay, so there's just a few ideas. There's no priority or, one is better than the other, but we thought we share a few ideas with you so you can pick and choose whatever works best for you. So, one is a simple notebook.
Mhm.
If you get a notebook or even just a simple exercise book, the ones that our kids have for school, and you start jotting down things. Now, you could, for example, have one page is a year basically. And you could number your pages starting from, I don't know, 1920, depends how long you go back with your photos. And then you start jotting down things in the years where when you come across the information as you go through your collection. This is you might end up doing it that way. You might end up with quite a few empty pages, or maybe with a year that has only one event, and then you sort of wasted a page. So it
Or we could do
depends.
a decade in that
Yeah, you can
instance.
do
So,
decades.
19,
Yeah,
20s to 30s or
yeah,
40s to
yeah.
50s or something.
Especially with the older photos where we have so few photos oftentimes. The decade will be easier.
Yeah.
And you can always fine tune it later or transfer that information later into some digital format. It's as you go through your collection when you're organizing and sorting it, um, it's really easy to just jot it down. But
Yep.
if digital were, again, you can do that digitally, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So another way with the same sort of idea with the notebook is with index cards.
Hmm.
So this is something that you, as soon as you remember something, say we were talking about either, so and so had braces then, you moved house, this was when the wedding was, just put the year up the top and put the event on the index card. And then you can keep a pile of them and then just flick back and forward to find that date and have a look. Or even if you've got the space and you're in an organizing, sort of a project, then you can lay them out and put them, in a
Hmm.
physical timeline of those events, and just grab that index card and write on it if there's something else that happened in that year, or grab a new index card and write a new date and then
Hmm.
just pop some information on it.
Yeah,
I've used that one quite a bit actually. I think that's been helpful for
yeah.
different people, as I've gone through some physical organizing.
Hmm.
Um, that's been good.
Yeah, I like that because you only create a card as you need it and
Yep.
you don't have, tons of empty pages.
Yeah. Mhm.
So for those more on the digital side of things, you can of course create an Excel sheet. You can create anything that works for you. It can be pretty simple. And again, you can add as you go. And because it's digitally, it doesn't matter in which order. So you could start with, an event that happened 1985, and then the next one is in 2005, and then you jump back to 1945. It
Mm,
doesn't matter because if it's in Excel, you can simply sort by column, and then it will automatically bring it into your chronological order. That's the beauty of going digital, of course. And you have to set it up in Excel a certain way so that you can actually sort by those
yeah.
but by the right information.
Yeah.
But then it does the work for you. So that's another way. And we will put a link in the show notes. We've come across a really good Excel template that's a bit more sophisticated rather than just a table. It actually creates a lovely image. So you've got how do they call it again?
It's a
Bubble.
bubble chart. So it's got the line on the bottom, and
Hmm.
then you have these lines coming up from that with a bubble, and you can make the bubble big or small,
Hmm.
depending on, if it's a big event or smaller events that you just want to capture.
Hmm.
And I've used that as well before, and that's a great one. Visually, I like to be able to see
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
in,
Yes. Yeah.
all in one place.
And you don't have to do that manually. I mean, you can, if you want an image and to, or have a visual, you could start designing that all in Canva, for example, but that's a lot of work. So this Excel sheet, I really like it. I haven't used it yet, but I've only just come across it and then found out that Fiona actually knows it,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to try it out. It looks great. So that's one option.
Yep. That's really good. The other thing too is if you just get some white sheets of paper and just stick them together with some sticky tape and just go crazy. Get a big long line and just, with a pencil or, like just cross them out, rub, slide something else in and just make one yourself. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. You can fold it up and then unfold it and add some more things in, and just, you've got one big long sheet. And, it's not about being specifically fancy and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just really what works for you. But these timelines, most organizers do this for themselves in some way when they're managing different clients' work. So when you're doing this on your own, we would encourage just to maybe have a look at trying one out and seeing if that helps you while you're organizing your photos to slot them into the right time.
yeah. And what you just mentioned before with, the long, big white paper, um, you could also use post-its.
Yep.
And, you make your note on the post-it, on the sticky note, and you put it there. And when it needs to be moved, because you keep adding and moving things around, it can easily be done.
Yeah. Or even if you're not sure of the dates and you're finding something out, you might write it on the sticky note with a, so and so um, wedding, and you're not sure when, you might have a question mark, and then you find something out, you get another clue, and then you move it there, and then you can. That's a lovely idea. I like that, Chantel.
Yeah, and it is a lot about clues, looking at your photos and finding clues. And I love that you brought up the example of the braces, because I've just worked with a client where that was relevant. We didn't know when it was taken, and then she told me that, oh, it must have been because she had braces as an adult. So she knew exactly that was just before I got my braces.
Oh,
So
there
there
you
you
go.
go. You
Yep.
can you can put it in an at least approximate spot. That
Yeah.
was probably pretty close, and that's good enough. So,
I remember
you know,
I remember I was like, I think second day of year 7 of high school. It was a memorable one, so that's
it
why it came
seems
up in my
so.
mind.
Yeah, things like that can be really valuable information.
Yeah.
So we've also created a very simple template for you. If you want to have a look, you can download that for free. We have a link in the show notes, and you can, it's basically one page, and you can print it out as many times you want, and you can use that template if you feel like that's a good thing for you. But
Yeah.
here are, do we have any other options? I don't
No,
think
I
so.
think that's it. I think we've
Mm,
covered it. It'd be good
mm,
maybe if anyone's got some other ones that they've used before, or they've got an idea, just shoot us an email, and
hmm.
head on over to our website and just let us know, and we can share that with others as well. But thanks so much for that, Chantel. I think that was a good one. Just to
Yeah.
hopefully those that are listening, this is something that might encourage you to have a little go, or even if
Mm,
you've got something written down, just to sort of give it a bit more intentional thought. around doing this so that you've
Mm,
got that space to be able to add and change things like that. But
mm.
yeah, just remember, if you'd like to know of new episodes coming out, sign up for the newsletter that we have over on our website. We've got the wish list there for you. If you've got something you'd like to say, something you'd like to have us cover, we would be more than happy to either respond to you directly or even cover it in another episode. But thank you again for joining us. And as always, happy photo organizing. I am Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantel from Photos in Order. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.